Shalom, first and foremost, all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rachakvadash, that belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, elect, shalom unto you. All right, this is the Brother Shaquat. Now, if you tune into our, this channel or even, our live streams and our camp page where we hold our outside street teachings, sometimes I reference, the show Black Mirror. And this lesson will be centered around why I reference the show. Okay. I tell brothers and sisters and whoever, may tune in, like, look, this is a good show to kind of watch. And the reason I advertise, or however you want to say it, push this show to be just to check it out, is because there's an element in the show that you can't, how should I say it, that you can't deny. And what it is it gives the vision of the technocracy that we're talking about, of the image of the beast that we're talking about. Okay? So I had a bunch of info on this, actually. Let me see if I can start up a little bit. That's season 1. So let me read this first, what I had. Somebody asked it on Google, I just put it in Google, said, what the heck is Black Mirror about? It said the Emmy-winning science fiction anthology series, and the anthology is a bunch of stories that, along the same line, but totally different. Like, they all don't necessarily connect on the surface. Okay? The connection is that there's technology everywhere. All right? That's where this connects. Right? That's why I bring it up, because for some people, their vision isn't, you have to have vision to see this thing, to have faith. Matter of fact, let me grab that. I'm gonna start there. Bear with me. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay, and the substance of things hoped for is what we hope to get. And hope goes into expectation and all of that. We hope for the kingdom of heaven, though we can't see it. When Yahushua said, I go to prepare a place for you, I have many mansions and all of these things. We hope for those things. We have no clue what that's going to look like or what that's going to be about. But from what the evidence of the scriptures give us, we find substance in that. There has to be more to it than this. Okay, the things of the kingdom, we hope for those things. We hope for this end. We hope for the deliverance. Okay, but it said the evidence of things not seen. Though the Most High is showing some evidence in the heavens with just these bright lights, they're not, coming down and then, angels hopping out saying, hey, we're going to come get y'all in a little while. We still have evidence that they're there, because there's clearly, it's getting to the point where the world can't ignore that there's these foreign UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, in the sky. And they're doing things that defy gravity in physics. Okay, so we take all these things into account. Now, more importantly, the evidence of things not seen, because you can't see the technocracy that's being set up around you, this helps to make the vision of the scriptures talking about it more plain to see. Okay? It makes it easier for you to envision a world that's completely controlled by this devil. Okay? That's why I bring the show up. All right? And it says, the Emmy-winning science fiction anthology series, Black Mirror, explores how the dark side of human nature intersects with the extremes of modern life. Each episode tells a standalone story. That's what anthology is about. Meaning you can watch all 6 seasons in whatever order you choose. Okay, see, I chose another one. Season 1 particularly said Black Mirror can be seen to demonstrate a negative viewing of unending pursuit of scientific and technological advancement. The majority of episodes end unhappily, right? Because we know the end of this beast is not going to be good, man. I mean, if he were to fulfill his NWO, which is part of that image of the beast, and we know that the beast is this pagan, is a technical Roman Empire, that's been reborn out of the Roman Empire, and it came back to life during the Renaissance, which means the rebirth, right? And they're trying to rebuild it with technology. All right, it says, but it ends unhappily, right? It says, however, and we know if they were to fulfill that, even though Klaus Schwab from the WWF says, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, you've been conditioned to be happy. And when you watch these movies, and, I bring up a lot of movies and a lot of shows or whatever, and, and it's all to help paint the picture of things that pop in your mind when you see these movies, when you see these shows, when you read these scriptures, the vision of making it real. Sometimes these directors have it right. All right. You see a movie like Independence Day, and you see the major chariot come into the atmosphere. It gives you a vision of what can be. You see movies like The Terminator, and you see the dystopian angle of it, and you can see what could be when total annihilation from these nukes happen. All right, you can see the technology of robots walking around. Now, what are you starting to see? You look at even the Matrix and the Animatrix. You start putting the internet together, and this show Black Mirror really puts that into perspective. It puts it in there. Some of these, matter of fact, it says it right here. I'm going to use this one. It says, ends unhappily. However, characters who carefully consider the risks of technology with which they engage are met with happy endings, as in San Junipero. Now, that particular show, episode, San Junipero, when you watch it, I'm not going to, I'll just tell you what it's about. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. But so you can see the technological angle of the reality of how they're putting this together. All right, it's a woman. She meets this other woman, and they hit it off, whatever, and they're in a certain time frame, and then they go out of it, then they come back in, and she's looking for her all over the different decades. Well, those decades, they're always at a nightclub. These decades from the different nightclubs, they're actually like chat rooms or different genre metaverses, if you will. Okay, so you can go into an 80s metaverse, you can go into a 90s metaverse, a 2025 metaverse. There's different versions of it. Okay, this sounds like the internet, where you're uploaded into the internet, the Matrix. Okay, where you live your life online more than you live it in the real world. Okay, it's based upon technology, and then it moves to the future, and I won't give off the end of the show, but when you start putting these shows together, that's what's happening in a lot of these. Okay, you start realizing there's an online version of the person, and then there's a reality version of the person. The one I brought up in the recent video I did. Dang, what was the name of it? It just escaped me. Let me grab it real quick. I brought it up. USS Callister. I always forget the name of it, but it's almost like an episode of a Star Trek. Okay, so the main character was a Trekkie, and so the internet, he had a real life. He was successful in the real world, but then he would go home and go into his Star Trek world, where he lived out, his personal life in the Star Trek world. A lot of people are doing this. Vegas was the first place that I noticed that this was happening. People would go to their job, they bus tables or janitor somewhere, whatever job, teacher, whatever. They do whatever their regular job was, but then they go and they be the man or the woman, the main chick, at these nightclubs. They're and it was crazy because I seen this in another city I lived in, where I knew this girl at work. We worked together, but then I happened to see her out one night and was like, you see somebody in a uniform at work, and you don't know what they do in their personal life, glasses, and they just real modest and whatever else, but you see them, You almost don't recognize it's the same person. I seen her out at this party and was like, damn, who wait, such and such? Dang, what are you? Oh, all right, I see how you get down when you're not at work. She's like, yeah, I got to do what we do. I got to be able to unwind like this. And I was like, damn, all right. And that's how you got to see that these people are going to want to unwind out of the despair that's happening in the real world and try to get into the technological world. So I bring this show up because it shows you a lot of the different situations that people will be enticed by with the internet, with the metaverse, with this technology. Okay? Hang the DJ was another version of it. Okay, I believe they met online or something, and they actually got to live out a short life together. It's crazy, man. This show got a lot of stuff in it, man, that you can kind of pick up on. Now let's go back, see if I can open that up again and ask those same questions. What the heck is it about? Let's see. Yep, that's the one I read. How would I explain to someone? Yeah, this is the one I wanted. Synopsis. So how do you explain Black Mirror to someone? Synopsis. The show looks inwards at the darker aspects of humanity and society. This is done through the theme of technology, hence the second meaning. The Black Mirror is the screen that rules our lives. And when you turn these phones off, whether it's the phones or the tablets or even the flat screen TVs, they're black, but they're almost reflective in the light. Okay, so it shows the dark nature of aspects of humanity. Some of the worst people have condemned themselves through the internet, through this technology. They've recorded, people are out there for clout, recording themselves doing all types of, crimes, man. Doing all types of things. Okay, live. I'm on the live. People dying on live and deleted or whatever word you want to use. All kinds of things, man. Okay, and the show is really good at exploring the different corners of how the imagination works that way, and how the psyche, as I said, the human psyche can be so dark and is reflected, by how we add it to this technology. Because you got to think about it. When a woman tells you, and I think I brought this up at camp last week, but when a woman tells you, or in one of these videos, but when a woman tells you she would rather, instead of having her dream man, making all the money, completely the dream guy, the looks that she wants, earn the money that she wants, the temperament that she wants, the education she wants, everything that she can have be perfect, she will still choose her social media accounts, her Instagrams and all of that, to get all them likes. Because she said, and some of them said, because that gives her more than a man can give her. That's how you know that this thing is spiritual now. Now it's a demon that's on you that prefer you to be with technology over humanity. Okay, and so this is all to help you to see how this will be so enticing to people, man. That's why when it comes down to the image of the beast, okay, you have to, the hour of temptation has to be there, because it's gonna be they're gonna take so much from you that you're gonna wanna, like, people are addicted. I'm not gonna lie, I'm addicted in a certain way to these phones. I try to do my best with putting it down and walking away from it and putting it on a charger and doing other things, but you realize you end up in front of another screen. We watch the news and brothers say, hey, check this video out, the apostles are on, so it comes back to these screens. Okay, so we're addicted in a certain sense. Now, what we're addicted to is not the same thing as what the people of the world are addicted to. That's one positive about it, but completely disconnecting from it is really tough. So when that hour of temptation actually comes, it's going to try everybody to see whether they can choose the Father or not, or they're going to choose the comforts and the convenience of technology. Okay, which, you know, ends up coming with getting that micro C hip inside you. All right. Now, I had something else in another version I want to read about the show. Okay, here we go. The overview. It says a series of standalone dramas, sharp, suspenseful, satirical tales that explore techno paranoia, right? Which we know when you break it down, techno is technology and paranoia is to be paranoid, right? So a fear of technology. Black Mirror is a contemporary reworking of The Twilight Zone with stories that tap into the collective unease about the modern world, particularly regarding both intended and unintended consequences of new technologies and the effect they have on society and individuals. Okay? Because I caught myself before I turned this on. I watched a video on YouTube that was about police getting ambushed from the body cam perspective, right? And then they end up, I guess, catching the guys or, you know, going into the investigation. But 17 minutes of my life, I was like, damn, I can't turn it off. You know, and Black Mirror has that. In the very first episode, I don't know if I were gonna bring it up, but in the very first episode in the first season, it was called oh my goodness, I always remember it till I have to remember it. Let me check. It's called National Anthem. Okay. So yeah, it's called National Anthem. All right, and in the show, when you read about that particular episode, they kidnap, you know, the princess or the duchess or whatever she is. They kidnap her, somebody of high regard and royalty or whatever. And then, you know, long story short, when you get to the end of it, while everybody's watching people are more caught up in what the ransom is. And the ransom was for the prime minister to do a heinous sexual act on camera in front of everybody, or they would kill her. And so that was like the mixed thing. Like, do I do it to save her, or do I say no way? Well, at the end of it, while everybody's tuned into him performing the act, or, you know, to see if he's going to perform the act, and there's nobody on the streets because they're too busy performing the act, they released her before he started performing the act. But because no one was out on the street seeing her be released, they were all at, you know, in front of a screen watching it, you know, debating if that was, he was going to do it or not, and putting bets and whatever else on it. She was already released, you know? And so people are more in tune with watching the prime minister do a heinous sexual act on screen versus the safety of the duchess, princess, whatever she was. And that shows you how people feel about this truth. People are more intrigued with watching these shows, whether it be the Kendrick Lamar halftime show or whatever else. They'll go deep dive into that, but they won't deep dive into the word world in John 3:16. Okay? They won't deep dive into these scriptures. All right? That's another lesson, but this just kind of shows you the mentality. You know, when you watch a show like this, you can now start to see how the parallels are there. All right? This is how the righteous mind is supposed to tap into watching shows like this. This isn't just an entertainment thing, right? It goes on to say, with stories that tap into the collective unease about the modern world, particularly regarding both intended and unintended consequences of new technologies and the effect they have on society and individuals. Each story features its own cast of unique characters, including stars like Bryce Dallas Howard from The Help, Alice Eve, Guru. See, there's a bunch of names of the actors. You can read them for yourself. I can't name all these people. Okay? One of my favorite episodes was in season 1, which was the entire history of you. In that one, man, it just showed the little idiot. They had the chip in them, right, the C hip in them, and they could rewind and play it onto a screen for everybody. So if you remember something, you can go. It's called a grain. If you had it in you and you remember something, you can go and show somebody. Nah, this is what you said. You can play it back, the reality of it. But then you can also go in there to get the truth, right? But you can also go in there and find out other little clues around. So a husband went back into his memories, right, that are on this device now, and actually was able to how do I say it, convict his wife and see the insincerity where he thought she was. He went back so deep that it began to contaminate his mind. You know, he went back and he could see all the little looks that she was doing and the eye rolling, and where he didn't notice it before, he started to notice it later when he he got an inkling of something going on. And so that was just kind of a theme that hey man, this is a reality. Some people would really kill for that. Some people really want to have that type of technology, but the evil that it'll bring about, and the show exploits that evil. Okay, on down to soldiers having it. There's another episode, I think season 4 or 5. I think it might be the Man Under Fire. I kind of remember that one. It was a soldier who had that grain in him, right? C-hip in him. And he saw the people that they were getting as roaches, they called them, but they were like, they looked like demons, right? But when his thing started malfunctioning, he didn't see him as that. He started to see him as just scared people. Okay, so it had his mind altering who and what they were. So he didn't treat them like enemy combatants versus the scared individuals that didn't have the grain that they were, women and children. And it was crazy. Man, good episodes, and there's all of them have something. They got propaganda with technology. They got all kind of stuff going on in here. All right, things that are not far-fetched from the world we live in. All right, so let me get to some of these scriptures, because that was pretty much the point of that. I'm just double checking to see if there was, how do you explain it to someone? Yeah, that was what I had. So I'll leave that up. Actually, I'll go promote the show a little bit, the Netflix deal. So we got that. So let me grab some precepts. All right, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, right? And how we set upon the tower and the watch? The watch means we gotta be locked in. We gotta be on the technology. We gotta tell you what we see. Okay, and that tower is given the Holy Spirit to be in the eye salve to be able to see all these things and put them in spiritual context for you. Okay, and what are all these things? All these things are the prophecies. We see World War III. We see all the countries assembling. We like, oh, okay, this is Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay, we see all of this. This is Daniel the 12th chapter. Okay, talking about knowledge will be increased. This is because of the technology. Okay, we see. Okay, that was you cannot buy or sell from Revelation the 13th chapter. This is the C-hip. This is what it's talking about. Okay, and then you go into the different, deeper into the Greek and the Hebrew words, and you start breaking things down, and we make it plain for you, as it's about to say, right? And we'll watch to see what he will say unto me, and what prophecy he will give unto us to speak. Okay, this is for the prophets to know this, and for the people to listen unto the words of the prophets. And what shall I answer when I am reproved? Are you going to take the correction or not? And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision. Okay, so this is a vision. You have to have vision to see the vision of the Father, and make it plain upon tables, that they may run that readeth it. And that's why I'm bringing this out now, because this show, in my opinion at least, helps you make it more plain to be able to see the prophecies of the Heavenly Father, particularly the prophecy of the end, the image of the beast. Okay, it makes it real simple for you to see the image of the beast. All right, and there's other shows you can go into the ancient times, and then then you can put those times into perspective. There's other movies, the Noah and Exodus, Gods and Kings, and you can the greatest story ever told. Some of these movies you can go into and start putting this all into perspective, and so you can take what they're putting out on the screen, Passion of the Christ and all of those movies, and start to see putting this into perspective of how to understand the Bible. Okay, but at the end of the day, it doesn't replace the vision that you have to believe it and to be moved with fear unto salvation. Okay, so write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And that's what we do these videos for. The modern thing is no different. We still have to use the same technology that will hook you, okay, to give you the message. Everything isn't only street teaching, but a lot of people will catch it by the street teaching, but more have caught it by this internet. Okay, and it's important that you are able to separate the difference, right? I'll grab that in a second. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, it'll come to life." And this show helps you see how it's coming to life even now. Okay, and this the show came out in 2011, and it's still going. All right, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, and the vision will come to pass. And it's talking about the real prophecies, because that doesn't mean that they have it to where it plays out the full way. You know, we're yet to see the movie that shows if you take the micro C hit that you catch the nuclear fire, but the elect get beamed up with the chariots. Okay, we're yet to see that movie. I mean, the knowing wasn't bad, but you know, but a lot of this is pretty much that. Okay, just to help you get the vision, to be able to have an image to help you ingrain it in your spirit a little more. Okay, that's always how I've used it anyway, I should say. "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." And we believe that message. It will surely come, because you watch a show like this, it makes it so plain that you're like, damn, I can see the reality in this. I can see how this can be real, how this is true. All right, let me grab this right quick. Micah chapter 2, verse 10. "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." Now, we can't completely depart from the technology, but we can depart spiritually from the technology. Okay? Because this technology is becoming a way of life in the world today. Okay, so we have to depart from this way of life, though we use the world, but as not abusing it, you know. But we're detached. We have to detach from it, though it's connected to the ministry. But when the ministry is cut off, when the famine of the word comes, we got to be able to disconnect as well. Okay, when you I'm trying to think of the other movie, but The Matrix particularly, when they would break the broadcast, it was harder for the sentinels to detect them. Okay, but when they would upload a broadcast or go online, that's when you can find them. Even in the show, the movie, the Bourne Identity movies, right? When he would pass through customs or somewhere, he would pop up on the radar, on the grid. He'd pop up in there, and now it's like, okay, we know where he's at now. Well, we're gonna have to detach from this thing like that, okay? Because we still have to, mingle around to sift out to sift out the elect and to make sure that they're edified. Okay, as the Spirit leads that, as well as that whole trial era of Jacob's trouble, all right, where our faith is tried and tested. Okay, and a good way to see that is through the book of Acts. Okay, but then there's other movies like that play that out, like Minority Report has some of that in the movie. Demolition Man has some of that in the movie. And you're looking at it from Simon Phoenix's perspective. He's a criminal. He's running around, trying, whatever. But even what's the other one? Total Recall. Where he's trying to get to Mars, but he has to go through the checkpoints. And there's a lot of different things. Movies you can apply some of the understanding of how this works out. Okay, how this will play out in reality in the near future, in prophecy, right? It says, "Arise ye and depart, for it is not your rest, because it is polluted." Okay, being connected to this world is polluted. Okay, because as we were even saying at camp last week, talking about the people in the Congo, I mean, in the Amazon, down in the Amazon, Esau came and gave them the internet down there. Now they up watching, pornography all times of night. Just instead of doing the stuff they're supposed to be doing. Well, this is why we can't stay too locked into this technology. Okay, brothers, me particularly, I'll say I do a lot of scrolling, looking for ideas for lessons and watching videos. A lot of it does happen on these phones. Okay, I do my videos on these phones and whatever else. But at the same time, we have to know that at some point you got to disconnect from it. Okay? And, damn, what is that I just saw? Somebody said something. Oh, I think it was talking about Kanye, but they were saying how in the movie, see, I always got a movie for it. In the movie, what he said, and it was like, we can't get this guy no attention talking about Kanye and all the stuff that he's been saying lately, right? But I still got his music locked in. I still have the music, the parts about it I love. It's in my spirit already. All right. And so in Shawshank Redemption, that movie, it was the same way. When he went to solitary confinement, he was like, "Well, I was all right. Yeah, how was it, man? That's the longest anybody's ever done that much time in solitary. I was good. I had my friends with me. Your friends." And he started naming some composers, okay, of classical music. Yeah, so he had those songs in his head to keep him sane. Okay, well, we have to have the spirit in us, and it's time to keep us sane and not be locked into the technology. Now, even furthermore, we're not guaranteed to have these Bibles. Okay, we're not. That'd be wonderful if we could wander around like Eli from the book of Eli and still have our Bible where we could read every day or whatever. That'd be great, but that may not be the case. Okay, seeing what that movie was about was taking the Bibles. Okay, he had like the last one on earth or something, and so they were trying to take it from him. All right, so we have to have this written in us, to have things to recall and recite and have it in us. Well, I'm just showing you how the vision has to be in you. And a show like Black Mirror and different movies and shows can always help intensify that vision and make it more plain for you. Okay, now reading it again in Micah 2:10, it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." If you stay, it says, "Stay upon him that smote them." We will not stay upon them that smote us, right? Because we knew to disconnect and depart, because this is not our rest to be connected to the society. Well, a lot of people will stay connected to this thing and they will be destroyed with it. As some in the wilderness in ancient Egypt, we were walking out of Egypt, were still connected to Egypt and Pharaoh. They want to go back to that life that they had under Egypt. Okay, well, they're the ones that are gonna catch the missiles, man. They're gonna catch that hellfire, man. Them lasers. They're gonna catch the destruction. Okay, but us, we have to be able to detach and still see the vision that's been ingrained with us, man. And then there'll be different roles. The prophets will be still around. Those that believe, there'll be evangelists and other roles of the church will still be around to push certain concepts of understanding through the Holy Spirit. Okay, in the times we're coming into. All right. Now back to another precept. All right, this is Isaiah 29:11. "And the vision of all become unto you as the of the word of a book that is sealed." Okay, and that's why I bring out shows like this, because for some, this may help unlock it. Okay, when I was first learning, the elders and the apostles, when they were the elders back then, but the elder bishops and the apostles would bring up certain movie shows and certain other history and textbooks and whatever else. And I could relate to that a little bit more. It just made it hit harder for me. Okay, it helped grow my understanding a little bit faster to be able to use that as a similitude to understand what the scripture was talking about. Okay, and Black Mirror is a good one leading into the image of the beast, right? uh, because this book is sealed from a lot of people, man. Okay, they can't. A lot of people just will not get the understanding out of this, out of the Bible. All right, the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he said, "I cannot, for it is sealed." Okay, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he said, "I am not learned. I don't understand. I can't get it." As everybody's talking about how they can't get the Kendrick breakdown of the Super Bowl halftime show, and people are frustrated and they know something. It's like MAGA, they were talking about MAGA. MAGA's frustrated. Lord would I'll do a video on it, but MAGA's frustrated because they're not sure what he was saying, but they felt like they got a slap in the face somehow by it. Well, whatever. Well, this book is way more important for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans that you should be able to understand it. So any tool you can use to help get this to sink in and to lock in is always a good thing. It also made me think of the vision that Peter got, okay, with the sheet that was knit at the four corners. So like slip of the tongue or whatever, but the sheet that was knit at the four corners with all diverse creatures on it. He said, Peter rise, kill and eat. I believe that's Acts the 10th chapter and the 11th chapter, right? When you read those, that was a vision, and it's hard to be understood until you see what that meaning is actually talking about. It had nothing to do with a big table of food. Okay, what it did have everything to do with was breaking down the Israelite foreigner, that they were basically the breakdown of the Israelite foreigners. That some of those that looked like heathen were actually Jakes. And he told him, and the Spirit told him, without calling clean. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's in the Acts the 10th chapter, but you get the point. All right. So when you read all of this, is to help you be able to envision what it's talking about. And the Bible's written with all types of things like that. Okay, Black Mirror just a modern version of that. All right. Isaiah 28 verse 7. But they also have erred through wine and through strong drink, are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink, and that strong drink is talking about philosophy, strong philosophies. Okay, they've been drunken by philosophies of the world. People believe the most watched event, the Super Bowl halftime show, or even the Super Bowl itself, should have precedence over what the prophets are actually talking about. We contrasted that, when we were teaching this past weekend, on Sunday particularly, while the game was on, we can hear the game in the background. Okay, the crowd and then the halftime show coming up and everything. We can hear most of that. Well, at that time, the prophets were out there prophesying. So while everybody was stuck, and it's the Black Mirror episode, National Anthem, while that's all going on, they're listening to the National Anthem and watching the America's Greatest Game and then the halftime show and the commercials and all of that. The real message was right around the corner or right up the street, being prophesied unto you. Salvation was right up the street. And all you have to do is come and inquire about it. Okay, going into that episode, the first episode. That's the same type of idea. The princess or whoever, the duchess or whoever she was right up the street. But you wanted to just so blinded by the entertainment that you were over there, watching that on the screen. Okay? They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. Okay? They stumble in judgment. Okay? So you'll watch it, and then you'll have somebody that don't believe in this thing try to break down what's the message of the Hebrew Israelites. You'll have them tell you when they don't believe. Why don't you ask us what it is? When you ask us, you don't like our answers. That's the problem. Okay? What did he tell him in Pulp Fiction? I don't like your answers. Well, you should ask. Your answers are scary. You should cease asking scary questions. Well, our message is a scary message, man. It's about fear. Fear for the Heavenly Father. All right? And in some of these show episodes, you can see how that fear can be applied. Okay. Look, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. So unless you come to us, you're not going to find any real clean messages, anything of cleanliness. But this word is what's clean. This word is what's pure. This wisdom. Okay? And it goes on, telling you how to break this word down through it. I'm not going to get into that. But now I'm in Proverbs 29, verse 18. But where there is no vision, the people perish. Okay? Which is the point of why I brought that up for. And so shows in different similitudes and different, situations that brothers bring up, movies or music and songs or situations or internet videos. And we do a lot of videos on this stuff. A lot, on different, you've seen what happened with this, and you watch how the news is talking about that. And we'll bring all those up to help you see the vision of the future that's coming, of the prophecy, to help understand and build a healthy fear towards repentance unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay, which is the overall purpose. Okay, we give you this so you can see it and feel it a little bit more. All right, and understand it a little bit more and be moved, to salvation. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Okay, so this was the point of the lesson. I just wanted to go over that. It was not as quick as I thought it would be. I only had a few precepts, but when you get into it, this is what happens. But the point of it is to help the vision become more clear unto you. So for a lot of you that won't be able to, that can't see how the micro C hip is the MOT to the B, well, this show can help with that. They can show you how the image of the beast is being set up. And they even show you from the same countries. When you look at the show, it's the same beast nations in the country that this is. It was the UK was pretty much based within. Okay, so we show you all of this so you can help see the vision of prophecy. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. Lord, when it was edifying, giving all praise and glory to the Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rachakodash, the bonds to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, hopefully, to the next one. Shalom.